Welcome back. Tonight, we're going to spend some quiet time exploring one of the most familiar animals in the world, cats. Cats have a way of slipping quietly into our lives. They appear softly in doorways, stretch across warm patches of sunlight on the floor, or curl themselves into small peaceful circles at the end of a bed. They rarely rush. They move slowly, deliberately, as if they understand something about calm living that humans sometimes forget. For thousands of years, cats have lived beside people. They have watched civilizations rise and fall, traveled across continents on ships and caravans, and found their way into homes in nearly every corner of the world. Yet even though they live with us so closely, cats still carry an air of mystery. If you watch a cat for a while, you may notice that they seem to exist halfway between two worlds. One moment they are soft, affectionate companions, resting quietly beside you. The next moment, their eyes sharpen, their ears turn forward, and they become something else entirely, a hunter, alert to every movement in the room. This quiet dual nature is part of what makes cats so fascinating. To understand cats, we have to travel back a very long time, long before cat toys, scratching posts, and sunny windowsills. Thousands of years ago, long before cities and modern homes, the ancestors of domestic cats lived in wild landscapes across Africa and the Middle East. These early cats were small desert hunters known as African wildcats. They lived alone, moving quietly through tall grasses and rocky terrain, hunting birds, insects, and small mammals. Unlike wolves, which lived in organized packs, wildcats were solitary creatures. Each cat controlled its own territory, patrolling silently through the landscape, relying on stealth and patience rather than teamwork. The life of a wildcat was one of careful observation. They waited. They listened. They watched. And when the moment was right, they moved with astonishing speed. These instincts, patience, quiet movement, sudden bursts of action, are still present in the cats that share our homes today. In fact, scientists have discovered that domestic cats are almost genetically identical to their wild ancestors. Compared to dogs, which were heavily bred and shaped by humans, cats changed very little during domestication. In a way, the cat curled up beside you today is still very much the same animal that once walked through ancient deserts thousands of years ago. But how did this wild hunter become one of the most common pets on Earth? The story of cats and humans begins with something surprisingly simple: grain. Around 10,000 years ago, early humans began building farming settlements. These communities stored large amounts of grain, which attracted mice and rats. And where rodents gathered, wildcats soon followed. For the wildcats, human villages were excellent hunting grounds. There was a steady supply of prey, and the buildings offered shelter from the elements. For humans, the presence of cats was helpful as well. Cats kept rodent populations under control, protecting valuable food supplies. And so, without any formal agreement, a quiet partnership formed. Humans tolerated the cats. Cats tolerated the humans. Over generations, some wildcats became more comfortable living near people. The cats that were less fearful of humans had easier access to food and shelter, which allowed them to survive and reproduce. Slowly, over many centuries, this relationship evolved into what we now recognize as domestication. But unlike many domesticated animals, cats were never fully controlled by humans. They chose to stay. And even today, cats maintain a certain independence that sets them apart from other pets. They are companions, but also observers. They live with us, but they are never entirely owned by us. And perhaps that quiet independence is one of the reasons people find cats so fascinating. If you spend time watching a cat throughout the day, you may notice that much of their life seems dedicated to sleep. Cats are masters of rest. A typical cat may sleep anywhere from 12 to 16 hours a day, sometimes even more. Kittens and elderly cats can spend nearly 20 hours each day asleep. But this behavior is not laziness. In the wild, predators must conserve energy for hunting. Chasing prey requires intense bursts of speed and focus, and resting between hunts allows animals to preserve their strength. Even though house cats no longer need to hunt for survival, their bodies still follow this ancient rhythm. And so cats nap. They sleep in sunlight. They curl up in soft blankets. They stretch across warm surfaces, perfectly content to drift between sleep and quiet awareness. Sometimes they sleep so deeply that their paws twitch slightly, as if they're chasing something in a dream. And this raises an interesting question. Do cats dream? Scientists believe that they probably do. Just like humans, cats experience different stages of sleep. During one of these stages, called REM sleep, the brain becomes very active, and dreaming often occurs. If you've ever seen a cat's whiskers twitch or their paws move gently while they sleep, you may have been watching a dream unfold. Perhaps they are chasing insects through tall grass, or stalking a bird in a quiet garden, or simply wandering through the mysterious landscapes that only animals can see in their dreams. Cats live partly in the waking world, and partly in a dream world of their own. And sometimes, when the room is quiet and the night is calm, it almost feels as if they carry a little piece of that dreamlike world with them wherever they go. As cats sleep through much of the day, they also move through the world with a quiet awareness that can be surprisingly intense. Even when a cat appears completely relaxed, stretched out across a couch or resting beside a window, its senses remain gently alert. A faint sound from another room may cause one ear to turn slightly. A distant movement outside the window may cause the eyes to open just a little. Cats are able to rest deeply while still keeping a subtle awareness of their surroundings. This ability comes from their long history as hunters. In the wild, animals that hunt small prey must remain patient for long periods of time. A mouse may only appear for a few seconds. A bird may land briefly before flying away again. So cats evolved to live in a state of calm readiness, relaxed, but prepared. If you watch a cat carefully, you can sometimes see this balance between rest and alertness. A cat resting in a sunny spot might suddenly become very still. Its eyes narrow slightly. The ears turn forward. The tail may twitch once or twice. Somewhere nearby, something moved. Perhaps it was only a shadow on the wall, or the faint movement of a curtain stirred by air. But to the cat, every small change in the environment is worth noticing. Cats experience the world through senses that are far more sensitive than our own. Their hearing, for example, is remarkably precise. Cats can hear frequencies that humans cannot detect at all. This allows them to hear the high-pitched squeaks of rodents or the tiny rustling sounds of insects moving through grass or leaves. Even more impressive is the way cats can locate the exact source of a sound. Each ear can rotate independently, allowing cats to pinpoint the direction of noise with incredible accuracy. If a sound occurs somewhere in a room, a cat can quickly determine exactly where it came from, often turning its head toward the location almost instantly. Their eyes are equally specialized. Cats do not see the world in quite the same way that humans do. Their vision is optimized for low light conditions. This means that while they may not see colors as vividly as we do, they can detect movement extremely well, especially in dim lighting. Inside a cat's eye is a reflective structure called the tapetum lucidum. This layer acts like a mirror, reflecting light back through the retina and giving the eye a second chance to detect incoming light. It's the reason a cat's eyes seem to glow when light shines on them in the dark. Because of this adaptation, cats can see very well during twilight hours, when many small animals are active. And this connects to another interesting part of a cat's natural rhythm. Cats are what scientists call crepuscular animals, which means they are most active during the quiet hours of dawn and dusk. If you have ever lived with a cat, you may have noticed that they often become energetic early in the morning or late in the evening. A cat that slept peacefully for most of the afternoon might suddenly sprint across the room at night, leap onto furniture, or chase invisible targets across the floor. Many people jokingly call these sudden bursts of energy the midnight zoomies. But these bursts of activity are actually echoes of an ancient hunting schedule. In the wild, the early morning and evening hours are when many small prey animals become active. Cats evolved to hunt during these times, when light is dim and their senses give them an advantage. Even though domestic cats no longer need to hunt for survival, their internal clocks still follow this pattern. So when your cat suddenly dashes across the house late at night, it is not simply being playful. For a moment, the ancient hunter inside them has awakened. After these energetic moments, however, cats almost always return to their favorite activity, resting. And when they rest, one of the most comforting sounds in the world often begins. A soft, steady vibration. The gentle rumble of a cat's purr. For many people, the sound of a purring cat feels instantly calming. It's a quiet sound, low and rhythmic, like a tiny engine humming softly in the background. But scientists have discovered that purring may be much more complex than it first appears. Cats often purr when they are content. A cat curled up beside you while being petted may begin to purr slowly, closing its eyes as it relaxes. But interestingly, cats may also purr when they are frightened, injured, or even giving birth. This has led researchers to wonder whether purring may serve multiple purposes. One theory suggests that purring may help cats heal. The vibrations produced during purring typically fall between 25 and 150 Hz, which happens to be a range that scientists believe can promote bone growth and tissue repair. Some researchers think that cats may purr as a way of helping their bodies recover from injuries. In a sense, the sound of a cat purring may be a kind of natural therapy, a gentle vibration that soothes both the cat and the people around it. And this quiet sound has comforted humans for generations. People have lived beside cats for thousands of years, and throughout that time, cats have slowly woven themselves into human culture and daily life. In ancient Egypt, cats were deeply respected animals. They were associated with the goddess Bastet, a protective deity often depicted with the head of a cat. Cats were valued not only for their companionship but also for their ability to control pests that threatened food supplies. Because of this, cats were often protected by law. In some cases, harming a cat was considered a serious offense. Many Egyptian families even adorned their cats with jewelry, and when a beloved cat passed away, it was sometimes honored with careful burial. Even today, thousands of years later, cats still hold a special place in many homes around the world. They are companions that share quiet moments with us, sitting beside us during long evenings, watching the world through windows, or curling up beside us as we sleep. And despite all the research scientists have done on cats, they still remain creatures filled with gentle mystery. Because living with a cat often feels less like owning a pet, and more like sharing space with a small, thoughtful observer of the world. A quiet presence that watches, listens, and occasionally decides to sit beside you for a while. And perhaps that quiet companionship is one of the reasons people have loved cats for so long. If you spend enough time observing cats, you may begin to notice something about the way they move through their environment. They rarely hurry. A cat crossing a room often does so slowly and deliberately, placing each paw down with careful balance. Their bodies seem to flow rather than step, their movement smooth and quiet, almost like water moving around obstacles. This graceful motion is not an accident. A cat's body is built in a very particular way that allows it to move with incredible flexibility and control. The spine of a cat contains more vertebrae than the spine of a human, and the connections between these bones allow for an extraordinary range of motion. This flexibility lets cats twist, stretch, and arch their backs in ways that many other animals cannot. If you have ever watched a cat wake up from a nap, you may have seen them stretch their body slowly, extending their front legs forward while their back arches upward. This movement is sometimes called a cat stretch, and it helps loosen the muscles after long periods of rest. But the flexibility of a cat's body serves an even more important purpose. It helps them survive falls. Many people have heard the phrase that cats always land on their feet. While this isn't perfectly true in every situation, cats do possess an astonishing ability known as the righting reflex. When a cat begins to fall, its body automatically rotates in midair, allowing it to orient its feet toward the ground before landing. This reflex develops when kittens are only a few weeks old. A cat's flexible spine allows the front half of the body to rotate separately from the back half. In a fraction of a second, the cat twists its body into the correct position. The legs then extend downward, absorbing the impact of the landing. Because of this reflex and their lightweight bodies, cats are sometimes able to survive falls that would seriously injure other animals. Even so, cats are not invincible. They rely on their agility and balance to navigate the world safely. And balance is another remarkable skill cats possess. Inside a cat's inner ear is a highly sensitive structure that helps them maintain equilibrium. This allows them to walk confidently along narrow ledges, fences, or railings with surprising ease. You may have seen a cat calmly walking along the thin edge of a fence, tail raised high for balance. To humans, such a narrow path might seem difficult to navigate. But to a cat, it feels perfectly natural. Their tails, which can appear simply decorative at first glance, actually play an important role in maintaining balance. As a cat moves, its tail acts like a counterweight, adjusting to keep the body stable. When a cat jumps, climbs, or turns quickly, the tail often moves instinctively to help control the motion. And cats are excellent jumpers. A healthy adult cat can often leap several times its own height in a single jump. This ability comes from powerful muscles in the hind legs, which allow cats to spring upward with remarkable force. If you have ever watched a cat leap effortlessly onto a high shelf or the back of a couch, you have seen this strength in action. But cats are not only agile and athletic. They are also deeply curious creatures. Curiosity seems to be woven into the nature of cats. They inspect new objects, peer into boxes, investigate small openings, and examine unfamiliar sounds with quiet determination. There is a well-known saying that curiosity killed the cat, but in reality curiosity is one of the reasons cats are such successful survivors. By exploring their environment, cats gather information about potential threats, opportunities, and changes in their surroundings. Sometimes this curiosity leads to amusing situations. Many cat owners have discovered that if you place an empty box on the floor, a cat will almost immediately climb inside it. Scientists have studied this behavior and believe that cats are naturally drawn to enclosed spaces because they provide safety and comfort. A small box creates a sheltered environment where a cat can observe the world while remaining protected. Inside the box, the cat feels secure, warm, hidden. And from this cozy hiding place, they can quietly watch everything happening around them. Cats are observers. They notice things humans often overlook. The small movement of an insect, the flicker of a shadow, the sound of distant footsteps. Their world is filled with subtle details. And sometimes it seems as though cats exist partly in a world that moves a little slower than ours. They pause. They watch. They consider. Then they decide what to do next. Another interesting aspect of cats is the way they communicate. Unlike dogs, which often rely heavily on barking or vocal sounds, cats use a wide range of body language to express themselves. A cat's tail can tell you a great deal about how they are feeling. When a cat approaches you with its tail held upright, it is often a sign of friendliness and confidence. A gently swaying tail may indicate curiosity or focus. If the tail begins to flick rapidly back and forth, however, it may signal irritation or excitement. The ears also reveal much about a cat's mood. Forward-facing ears usually indicate interest or attentiveness. Ears flattened backward may suggest fear, discomfort, or frustration. Even the eyes of a cat can communicate subtle messages. Many cats express trust through something known as a slow blink. When a cat looks at a person and slowly closes its eyes before opening them again, it is often considered a sign of comfort and safety. Some animal behavior experts even suggest slowly blinking back at a cat as a way of returning this gesture. And surprisingly often, the cat will blink back in return. In that quiet exchange, a small moment of communication passes between two very different species. A human and a cat. And somehow, both seem to understand. If you continue to watch cats long enough, another interesting pattern begins to appear in the way they live their lives. Cats are creatures of rhythm. Their days tend to follow gentle cycles of sleep, exploration, grooming, and quiet observation. Unlike humans, who often rush from task to task, cats seem to move through time at a slower and more measured pace. A cat may spend a long while resting in one spot, eyes half closed, breathing slow and steady. Then, almost suddenly, something will capture its attention. Perhaps a small movement near the window. Perhaps a distant sound. Or simply a moment when the cat decides it is time to move. The cat stretches, arches its back, and slowly rises to its feet. After a brief moment of looking around the room, it begins to walk, tail relaxed, moving silently from place to place. Often this walk leads to another quiet ritual that cats perform many times throughout the day. Grooming. Cats are famously clean animals. A large portion of their waking hours is spent carefully grooming their fur. With slow, methodical movements, they use their tongues to clean their paws, their legs, their chest, and their face. This behavior serves several important purposes. First, grooming helps keep their fur clean and free of debris. A cat's tongue is covered in tiny hook-like structures called papillae, which act almost like a natural comb. These structures help remove loose fur and dirt while also distributing natural oils through the coat. But grooming is not only about cleanliness. It is also deeply calming for cats. The repetitive motion of licking and smoothing their fur seems to help them relax. After an exciting moment, perhaps after play or a sudden noise, a cat may pause and begin grooming as a way of settling back into calm. Sometimes cats even groom each other. When two cats trust one another, they may sit close together and gently lick each other's heads or ears. This behavior is called allogrooming, and it helps strengthen social bonds between them. In homes with multiple cats, these quiet grooming sessions can often be seen during peaceful moments of the day. One cat resting beside another, carefully grooming a friend. And eventually, both drifting back towards sleep. Cats are also incredibly sensitive to warmth. If you observe where a cat chooses to sleep, you may notice that it is almost always in a warm location. A patch of sunlight on the floor, a soft blanket, a spot near a heater, or perhaps a comfortable lap. Cats prefer environments that are slightly warmer than what humans typically find comfortable. Their ancestors lived in warm desert climates, and their bodies are still adapted to those conditions. This is why cats are so often drawn to sunlight. A cat resting in a sunbeam may look perfectly content, eyes gently closed, body stretched into the warmth. As the sun slowly moves across the room during the day, the cat may adjust its position slightly, following the light. In this way, cats seem to move with the rhythm of the sun itself. Morning light appears, and the cat settles into a warm place. Afternoon light shifts, and the cat slowly relocates to a new sunbeam. Evening arrives, and the house grows quiet again. And throughout it all, the cat remains calm and observant, existing comfortably in these small, peaceful moments. Another fascinating part of a cat's world is its sense of smell. While dogs are often celebrated for their powerful noses, cats also rely heavily on scent to understand their environment. They possess scent glands in several parts of their bodies, including their cheeks, paws, and tail. When a cat rubs its face against furniture, doorways, or even people, it is often leaving behind scent markers. To humans, this may simply appear as a friendly gesture. But to the cat, it is also a way of gently marking its territory. The scent left behind is not meant as a warning. Instead, it creates a familiar environment filled with comforting signals that tell the cat, this place is safe. You may have noticed a cat rubbing its face against your hand, your leg, or even your face. In many cases, this behavior is both affectionate and communicative. The cat is sharing its scent with you, and in doing so, welcoming you as part of its world. Cats also have a unique sensory organ known as the Jacobson's organ, located in the roof of their mouth. This organ allows them to analyze certain scents more deeply. When cats encounter an interesting smell, they sometimes open their mouths slightly and curl their lips in a strange expression. This behavior is called the feline response. It may look unusual, but the cat is actually drawing scent molecules toward this special organ, allowing it to process the smell more carefully. Through scent, cats build a detailed map of their surroundings. Every object, every space, every familiar person carries its own scent signature. And this invisible landscape of smells helps cats feel oriented and secure within their territory. Cats may seem quiet and mysterious to us, but within their world of scent, sound, warmth, and movement, their environment is rich with information. A room that appears still and ordinary to a human may feel full of subtle signals to a cat. The faint scent of a visitor, the distant sound of a bird outside, the shifting warmth of sunlight on the floor. All of these details form the quiet background of a cat's life. And perhaps that is one of the reasons cats appear so calm. They are deeply aware of their surroundings, yet they rarely feel the need to rush through them. Instead, they watch. They listen. They stretch. They rest. And they move gently through the quiet spaces of the world. As the quiet hours of the day pass, a cat's world continues to unfold in small and thoughtful moments. If you sit quietly in a room with a cat long enough, you may begin to notice how carefully they observe the environment around them. Cats often choose places where they can see as much of their surroundings as possible. A windowsill, the back of a chair, the top of a bookshelf, or a quiet corner of a room. From these comfortable vantage points, they watch the world with patient attention. Outside the window, birds may land on branches or hop across the ground. Leaves might move gently in the wind. Shadows slowly shift as the sun moves across the sky. To a human, these changes may feel small and unimportant. But to a cat, they are part of an endlessly interesting landscape. The eyes of a cat are particularly suited for noticing movement. Their vision is designed to detect even the slightest motion. This ability helped their ancestors hunt small animals that might only appear briefly before disappearing again. Because of this, cats often react to things that humans might not even notice. A small insect flying across a room may instantly capture a cat's attention. A dust particle drifting through a beam of sunlight may trigger a sudden leap or playful paw swipe. Even the faint reflection of light on a wall can become an object of fascination. In these moments, the playful side of cats emerges. Many cats enjoy chasing small moving objects. This might include toys, pieces of string, or shadows on the wall. What appears to be simple play is actually a form of practice for hunting skills that their ancestors relied on for survival. When a cat crouches low to the ground, slowly creeping toward a toy, you are seeing the same hunting posture that wildcats use when stalking prey. Their body becomes very still, their eyes locked onto the target, their back legs curled with quiet tension. And then, suddenly, they leap. The movement is quick and precise. A short burst of energy, followed by a return to calm observation. Even though house cats no longer need to hunt for food, these instincts remain deeply rooted within them. Play provides an outlet for these natural behaviors, allowing cats to practice skills that their bodies still remember. Another behavior many cats display is kneading. If you have ever watched a cat press its paws gently into a blanket, pillow, or even a person's lap, you may have seen this behavior. The cat pushes one paw forward, then the other, alternating slowly as if it were kneading dough. This motion often happens when a cat feels especially comfortable and safe. The behavior actually begins when cats are very young kittens. When nursing from their mother, kittens knead against her belly to stimulate the flow of milk. As adult cats grow older, they sometimes continue this motion as a comforting habit. When a cat kneads while resting beside you, it may be a quiet sign that they feel safe and relaxed in your presence. Another familiar behavior among cats is their love for high places. Cats often enjoy climbing to elevated spots such as shelves, cabinets, or the tops of furniture. From these high places, they gain a clear view of the entire room. This preference for height comes from their natural instincts as both predators and prey. In the wild, higher ground provides a safe vantage point. From above, cats can watch for potential threats while also keeping an eye on possible prey moving below. In modern homes, this instinct remains. A cat perched high on a bookshelf or resting on top of a refrigerator may simply be enjoying the sense of security and awareness that height provides. From there, the cat can observe everything happening below with quiet curiosity. Cats are also excellent climbers. Their claws are curved and sharp, designed to grip surfaces such as tree bark. These claws allow cats to climb upward with impressive skill. If you have ever seen a cat climb a tall scratching post or a tree outdoors, you may have noticed how easily they move upward. Climbing down, however, is often more difficult. Because their claws curve backward, cats are naturally better at climbing upward than descending headfirst. This is why cats sometimes turn their bodies around when climbing down from a tree or tall structure. These climbing instincts are also the reason scratching is such an important behavior for cats. When cats scratch surfaces such as scratching posts, carpets, or tree trunks, they are doing more than simply sharpening their claws. Scratching helps remove the outer layer of the claw, keeping it healthy and sharp. It also allows cats to stretch their muscles and mark territory using scent glands located in their paws. You may notice that a cat often scratches certain objects repeatedly. These spots become part of the cat's scent-marked territory, helping them feel comfortable and familiar within their environment. Territory plays an important role in the life of a cat. Cats are naturally territorial animals. In the wild, a cat's territory contains everything it needs to survive: food sources, shelter, and safe places to rest. Domestic cats still carry this instinct, even though their needs are provided by their human companions. Inside a home, a cat may mentally map out the entire space as its territory. Favorite sleeping spots, food locations, window views, and hiding places all become part of the cat's internal map. Changes to this environment, such as moving furniture or introducing new animals, may take time for a cat to adjust to. Once a cat becomes familiar with its territory, it often moves through the space with quiet confidence. Each hallway, room, and corner holds familiar scents and memories. And in this safe and known environment, cats can relax fully. You may have noticed that cats often choose small, tucked-away places for sleeping. A corner of a closet, a box on the floor, or a blanket folded into a cozy shape. These small spaces provide a sense of security. Surrounded by soft edges or walls, the cat feels protected while resting. Sometimes a cat will curl itself into a perfect circle while sleeping. Its tail wraps gently around its body, nose tucked close to its paws. In this position, the cat conserves warmth and protects its vulnerable belly, a posture that traces back to the survival instincts of wild ancestors. Watching a sleeping cat can be strangely calming. Their breathing becomes slow and steady. Their body rises and falls gently. Occasionally, their whiskers twitch slightly as they drift through dreams. In these quiet moments, the world around them seems to slow down as well. And perhaps that is one of the quiet lessons cats offer to the people who live with them. The art of slowing down. The value of rest. The comfort of simply being still for a while, watching the world move quietly around you. As the quiet rhythm of a cat's day continues, another interesting detail begins to emerge in the way they experience the world. Cats are not only observers of their environment, they are also careful listeners. A room that seems silent to a human is often filled with small sounds that a cat can easily detect. The faint ticking of a clock, the soft rustle of fabric moving as someone walks across the floor, the distant chirping of birds outside a window. A cat's ears are remarkably sensitive, capable of detecting sounds that are far higher in pitch than humans can hear. These high frequencies are often produced by small animals like mice or insects, which helped cats locate prey in the wild. But what makes a cat's hearing even more impressive is the way their ears move. Each ear can rotate almost like a small satellite dish, turning independently to track the direction of a sound. If you watch a cat sitting quietly, you may notice that its ears occasionally twitch or swivel slightly, even when the rest of its body remains still. This subtle movement is the cat listening, gathering information, mapping the sounds of the room. In some ways, cats experience the world like a quiet puzzle made of tiny sensory clues. Every sound, scent, and movement adds another piece to their understanding of their surroundings. This awareness helps explain why cats sometimes react to things that humans cannot detect. You may have seen a cat suddenly stare at an empty corner of a room, ears forward, eyes focused as if something invisible had caught its attention. Often there is a perfectly ordinary explanation. Perhaps a faint sound traveled through the walls, or a small insect moved across the floor. But to the human observer, it can sometimes feel as though the cat is noticing something hidden just beyond our perception. This mysterious quality has fascinated people for centuries. Throughout history, cats have often been associated with quiet wisdom and watchfulness. In many cultures, they were seen as creatures that moved gracefully between the ordinary world and the unknown. But much of their mysterious reputation simply comes from their incredible senses. Cats notice details that humans often overlook. Another subtle but fascinating part of a cat's body is its whiskers. At first glance, whiskers may seem like ordinary hairs, but they are actually highly specialized sensory tools. Each whisker is deeply connected to nerves that send information directly to the cat's brain. These whiskers allow cats to detect tiny changes in air movement and nearby objects. When a cat moves through a narrow space, its whiskers help determine whether its body can fit through the opening. If the whiskers brush against the sides of an object, the cat receives immediate feedback about the size and shape of the space. Because of this, whiskers are incredibly important to a cat's ability to navigate the world. You may notice that cats sometimes push their whiskers forward when they are curious or investigating something closely. At other times, the whiskers may relax outward when the cat is calm. Like many parts of a cat's body language, whiskers quietly reflect the cat's emotional state. Cats also have a fascinating relationship with food. Unlike some animals that eat large meals and then rest for long periods, cats tend to prefer smaller meals throughout the day. This pattern reflects their hunting instincts. In the wild, a cat might catch several small prey animals during a day rather than one large meal. Because of this, their digestive systems are adapted to frequent, smaller portions. This is why many domestic cats enjoy eating small amounts of food at different times rather than consuming a single large meal. Another interesting detail about cats is their sense of taste. Cats actually lack the ability to taste sweetness. Scientists believe this trait developed because cats evolved as strict carnivores. Their ancestors relied almost entirely on meat for survival, and sweetness was not an important flavor in their natural diet. Because of this, foods that taste sweet to humans often have little appeal to cats. Instead, cats are far more interested in the smell and texture of their food. Smell plays a major role in how cats experience flavor. If a food has a strong scent that appeals to them, they are much more likely to eat it. And speaking of scent, cats also have a very special way of greeting people they trust. When a cat walks toward a person and gently bumps its head against them, this behavior is known as head bunting. It may appear simple, but it carries meaning. Cats have scent glands on their cheeks and foreheads. When they rub their head against a person, they leave behind a small amount of their scent. This scent marking is not a warning or territorial signal in this case. Instead, it is often a sign of familiarity and affection. In a way, the cat is saying that the person belongs within its trusted circle. Cats also sometimes greet people by raising their tails straight up in the air. Among cats, this upright tail position is considered a friendly signal. Kittens often approach their mothers with their tails raised, and adult cats may use the same gesture when greeting humans they feel comfortable with. These small behaviors form a quiet language between cats and people. Over time, many cat owners begin to recognize these signals instinctively. They notice the difference between a relaxed tail and an irritated flick. They recognize the slow blink that signals comfort. They understand when a cat wants to play, and when it simply wants a peaceful place to sleep. Living with a cat often becomes a gentle process of learning these subtle messages. And as people learn to understand them, they begin to appreciate just how thoughtful and expressive these quiet animals can be. Cats may not speak our language, but they communicate constantly through small movements, quiet sounds, and careful gestures. Sometimes a simple glance. Sometimes a soft purr. Sometimes the quiet decision to sit beside you while the room grows calm. As the day slowly moves forward and the quiet rhythm of a cat's life continues, another gentle part of their nature becomes easier to notice: their patience. Cats are incredibly patient animals. If you have ever watched a cat observing something interesting, perhaps a bird outside a window or a toy moving across the floor, you may have noticed how long they are willing to wait. A cat can sit perfectly still for several minutes, sometimes even longer, simply watching and studying the movement of something in the distance. Their body becomes very calm. Their eyes remain focused. Even their breathing seems to slow. This patience is another echo of their wild ancestry. In the natural world, hunting often requires waiting quietly for the right moment. A small animal may only appear briefly, and if the hunter moves too quickly, the opportunity disappears. So cats evolved to master stillness. They can remain quiet and motionless until the exact moment when movement becomes necessary. And when that moment arrives, their reaction can be incredibly fast. A cat's reflexes are among the quickest in the animal kingdom. Their muscles are designed for sudden bursts of speed, allowing them to leap, twist, and change direction in the blink of an eye. If you watch a cat chasing a small toy across the floor, you may see them pivot and spin with astonishing agility. Their body seems almost weightless for a moment as they change direction in midair. But once the excitement fades, the cat often returns to calmness just as quickly as it began. The chase ends. The room becomes quiet again. And the cat settles back into a comfortable resting place. Another peaceful habit many cats share is their love of routine. Cats tend to follow predictable patterns throughout the day. They may wake at similar times each morning, visit the same favorite sleeping spots, and expect meals at familiar hours. This routine creates a sense of stability in their world. A cat that knows when food will appear, where its safe places are, and what the rhythm of the household feels like can relax more easily. This is why cats sometimes become curious or cautious when changes occur in their environment. A new piece of furniture, a visiting guest, or even the arrival of a new pet may cause the cat to pause and observe carefully. They may explore slowly, sniffing unfamiliar scents and quietly examining the change. Once the cat becomes comfortable with the new situation, the routine gradually returns. And with it, the cat's calm confidence. Cats also possess an impressive memory. They are able to remember locations, pathways, and experiences over long periods of time. A cat may remember where a favorite toy was hidden days earlier, or recall which cupboard sometimes contains treats. They also remember people. Cats can recognize the voices and movements of the humans they live with. Even after time apart, many cats quickly recognize familiar faces and sounds. This memory helps form the quiet bonds that develop between cats and their human companions. Although cats may sometimes appear independent, many of them form strong attachments to the people in their lives. Some cats follow their owners from room to room, quietly keeping them company during daily activities. Others may prefer to sit nearby rather than directly on a person's lap, simply enjoying the comfort of being close. Cats often choose specific people as their trusted companions. When a cat curls up beside someone, rests a paw on their arm, or gently settles nearby while they work or relax, it can be a quiet expression of trust. These moments may seem small, but they carry meaning in the language of cats. Trust is something cats give slowly. But once given, it can last for many years. Cats also experience the world through a fascinating sense of touch. Their fur is extremely sensitive, capable of detecting subtle changes in temperature and air movement. This sensitivity helps them respond quickly to changes in their environment. It is also one reason cats can be selective about how they are touched. Some cats enjoy long, gentle strokes along their back or behind their ears. Others prefer shorter interactions before deciding they have had enough attention. Learning where a cat enjoys being petted can take time, but when you discover those favorite spots, the cat often responds with deep relaxation. You may notice their eyes slowly closing, their body softening, and sometimes that familiar quiet rumble beginning once again. The purr. There is something deeply peaceful about sitting in a quiet room while a cat purrs softly nearby. The sound is steady and rhythmic, not loud or demanding. Just a gentle vibration that seems to fill the quiet space with calm. In many ways, cats bring this same quiet presence into the lives of the people around them. They do not rush. They do not worry about tomorrow. They simply exist in the present moment, resting when they are tired, observing when they are curious, and moving only when they feel the need. And perhaps that is why so many people find comfort in the company of cats. They remind us that the world does not always need to move quickly. Sometimes it is enough to sit in a warm place, listen to the quiet sounds of the room, and simply watch the day slowly pass by. As evening slowly approaches and the light in the room begins to soften, many cats seem to awaken from their long daytime rest. The house grows quieter, shadows stretch gently across the floor, and a cat that spent much of the afternoon sleeping may now begin to explore again. This shift in energy is part of a rhythm that has existed for thousands of years. Cats are naturally most active during the quiet hours of dawn and dusk. In the wild, these are the times when many small animals begin to move about. The dim lighting gives cats an advantage, allowing them to see clearly while remaining difficult for prey to notice. Even though domestic cats no longer need to hunt for their meals, their bodies still remember this ancient schedule. As the evening begins, you might see a cat stretch slowly, extending its front paws forward while its back arches high into the air. The stretch often lasts several seconds, followed by a gentle shake of the head and a few slow blinks as the cat wakes fully. Then, with quiet curiosity, the cat begins to walk through the house. Cats often patrol their environment in calm, careful ways. They may move from room to room, pausing occasionally to sniff a familiar object or glance out a window. These slow walks help the cat check that everything within its territory feels normal and safe. The familiar chair is still in its place. The hallway is quiet. The window still offers a view of the outside world. These quiet inspections are a small but important part of how cats maintain their sense of comfort within their surroundings. During these evening hours, many cats also become playful. A toy dragged across the floor may suddenly become the center of intense focus. The cat crouches low, shoulders rising slightly as its body prepares for movement. Its eyes lock onto the toy, following each motion carefully. For a few moments, everything becomes still. Then, suddenly, the cat leaps forward. The movement is quick and smooth, driven by powerful muscles in the back legs. Even a short chase across the floor allows the cat to release bursts of energy that built up during the long hours of sleep earlier in the day. Play may continue for a few minutes, perhaps a series of short chases or leaps. But eventually the excitement fades again. And just as quickly as the energy arrived, the calm returns. Cats are masters of balancing activity and rest. After play, many cats will groom themselves again. With quiet dedication, they smooth their fur and clean their paws, restoring their calm state. And before long, they may return to one of their favorite resting places. Perhaps the back of a couch. Perhaps the soft corner of a blanket. Or perhaps a comfortable place beside someone they trust. Many cats enjoy sleeping near the people they live with. Even cats that are independent often choose to remain nearby while their humans relax or sleep. The quiet presence of a trusted person seems to create a feeling of safety and comfort. Some cats curl up at the foot of a bed. Others sleep on nearby chairs or blankets. A few even rest directly beside their owners, gently adjusting their position throughout the night. This quiet companionship has likely existed for thousands of years. In ancient homes, cats probably rested beside fires or warm sleeping spaces while humans slept nearby. Over generations, this peaceful coexistence became part of the relationship between cats and people. Even today, the simple act of a cat sleeping nearby can bring a surprising sense of calm. The steady rise and fall of their breathing, the quiet warmth of their body, the soft rumble of an occasional purr. These small details create an atmosphere of peaceful comfort. Cats also have fascinating dreams during their sleep. Just like humans, cats enter different stages of sleep, including a stage called rapid eye movement, or REM sleep. During this stage, the brain becomes active, and dreaming often occurs. If you observe a sleeping cat carefully, you may notice subtle signs of dreaming. Their whiskers may twitch. Their paws may move slightly, as if stepping through an invisible landscape. Sometimes their ears flick gently, responding to sounds that exist only in the dream. Scientists believe these movements may reflect memories or experiences from the cat's waking life. Perhaps they are dreaming of chasing insects across a garden, or climbing a tall tree, or exploring a sunlit room filled with familiar scents. Whatever the dream may be, it unfolds quietly behind closed eyes while the cat rests peacefully. As the night grows deeper, many cats eventually settle into their longest periods of sleep. Curled into a warm shape, they drift between deep rest and light awareness, their senses still gently attuned to the quiet sounds of the house. In these peaceful hours, the world becomes very still. The lights grow dim. The sounds fade. And somewhere nearby, a cat sleeps calmly, perfectly at ease in the quiet rhythm of the night. As the quiet night stretches on, a cat's world becomes softer and slower. The house may grow silent, lights dimmed, the sounds of the day fading away one by one. In these moments, cats seem perfectly at home. Their bodies relax deeply during the night, but they never completely lose awareness of the space around them. Even while sleeping, a cat may occasionally shift its ears toward a sound in another room, or open its eyes slightly before settling back into sleep again. This ability to rest while remaining aware is something that helped cats survive for thousands of years in the wild. A wild cat could never fully surrender to sleep for too long. Predators, rivals, or other dangers might appear without warning. So cats developed a style of rest that allows them to drift between light sleep and deeper sleep throughout the day and night. Even domestic cats still carry this ancient habit. Sometimes, if you watch closely, you may notice that a cat sleeps with one ear slightly turned upward, as if quietly listening to the world even while dreaming. Another remarkable feature of cats is the quiet strength hidden within their bodies. Cats may appear small and gentle, but their muscles are surprisingly powerful. Their bodies are built for short bursts of action rather than long periods of running. When a cat jumps, climbs, or pounces, nearly every muscle in its body works together with perfect timing. The hind legs act like springs, storing energy before releasing it in a sudden leap. The spine bends and stretches like a flexible ribbon, adding extra length to the jump. The front paws extend forward to guide the landing, while the tail adjusts the body's balance in midair. All of this happens in a fraction of a second. And yet, when the movement ends, the cat may return instantly to stillness, as if nothing unusual happened at all. This effortless grace is one of the qualities that has fascinated humans for centuries. Artists, writers, and observers throughout history have admired the elegance of cats. Their movements are smooth and controlled, never clumsy or rushed. Even something as simple as walking across a room seems graceful when done by a cat. Another interesting detail about cats is their ability to communicate with humans in subtle ways. Although cats do use vocal sounds such as meows, chirps, and purrs, many of their messages are expressed through body language. A cat that feels relaxed may lie on its side, stretching its legs out comfortably. If the cat rolls onto its back and exposes its belly, it can be a sign of trust, though not always an invitation for belly rubs. The position of the tail also reveals a great deal about how a cat feels. A tail raised high with a gentle curve at the tip often indicates friendliness. A slowly swaying tail may suggest curiosity or concentration. A tail that flicks sharply from side to side, however, may signal irritation or frustration. Learning these signals allows humans to understand cats more clearly. Over time, many cat owners develop an intuitive sense of their cat's mood simply by observing these small movements. Cats, in turn, often learn to read human behavior as well. They notice when someone is preparing food. They recognize the sounds of familiar footsteps or the opening of a door. Many cats even learn the specific times when certain daily activities occur. For example, a cat may begin waiting near the kitchen shortly before its usual feeding time, having learned the rhythm of the household schedule. Some cats greet their owners at the door when they return home. Others follow quietly behind their owners as they move from room to room, simply enjoying the company. These small interactions build a quiet relationship between cats and the people they live with. While cats may sometimes appear independent, they are far from indifferent. Many cats form deep attachments to their human companions. They may seek out certain people when they want comfort, warmth, or companionship. A cat resting beside someone during a quiet evening may simply be enjoying the peaceful presence of someone they trust. In these quiet moments, there is no need for words. The cat settles nearby, perhaps curls into a small circle, and the room grows calm. Another fascinating feature of cats is their sense of balance and coordination. If you have ever watched a cat walk along a narrow surface, such as the back of a chair or the edge of a railing, you may have noticed how easily they maintain their balance. This skill comes from a combination of factors. Their flexible spine allows them to adjust their body position easily. Their tail acts as a counterweight, shifting slightly to stabilize their movement. And their inner ear contains structures that help them sense orientation and motion. Together, these features allow cats to perform movements that might seem difficult or risky for other animals. Yet for a cat, these movements feel completely natural. Climbing, balancing, jumping, these are simply part of how cats explore the world. And after exploring, cats almost always return to their favorite activity once again. Rest. They find a warm place, a comfortable surface, a quiet corner of the house, and slowly, peacefully, they drift back into sleep. Their breathing becomes steady, their paws tucked gently beneath their body. And once again, the calm rhythm of a cat's life continues. A gentle balance of curiosity, movement, and rest. As the quiet rhythm of a cat's life continues, there is another gentle habit that many people notice when living with these peaceful animals: the way cats seem to choose their moments carefully. Cats rarely do anything without purpose. Even their smallest movements often feel deliberate, as though they have taken a quiet moment to consider what they will do next. A cat might sit beside a window for a long time, watching the outside world with patient attention. Birds may pass by, clouds may drift slowly across the sky, and leaves may move in the wind. During all of this, the cat remains still, quietly observing. Then, without warning, the cat stands, stretches slowly, and walks away. To a human, the reason for this change may not be obvious. But to the cat, something in the environment has shifted, perhaps a sound, a scent, or simply a change in mood. Cats are very aware of their internal comfort. If a place feels warm, safe, and pleasant, they may remain there for hours. But if something about the environment changes, they often relocate with quiet determination. Sometimes this leads them to unusual sleeping places. Many cats enjoy squeezing into spaces that appear far too small for them. A tiny cardboard box, a basket filled with blankets, or even a drawer left slightly open may become a perfect resting place. Scientists believe this behavior is connected to a cat's instinct to seek shelter. In the wild, small enclosed spaces provide safety. They protect the cat from larger predators and allow them to rest without being easily seen. Inside a box or enclosed area, a cat can relax more deeply because the surrounding walls create a sense of security. This is why many cats seem so drawn to boxes. Place an empty box on the floor, and before long, a curious cat may appear, carefully stepping inside to investigate. Once inside, they may circle slowly, adjusting their position until the space feels exactly right. Then they settle down, folding their paws beneath their body and closing their eyes. From the outside, it may appear that the cat has chosen a very simple place to rest. But from the cat's perspective, it is a perfectly designed little shelter. Another behavior that many cat owners recognize is the quiet head tilt that sometimes occurs when a cat hears a sound. A faint noise may cause the cat to pause, ears turning forward as it listens closely. Then the head tilts slightly to one side, as though the cat is carefully analyzing what it heard. Cats are extremely skilled at locating sounds. Because their ears can rotate independently, they are able to detect even the smallest differences in timing between sounds reaching each ear. This allows them to determine the exact direction of a noise. In the wild, this skill helped cats locate prey hidden beneath grass or leaves. Even inside a home, cats still use this ability constantly. The rustle of a bag, the click of a door handle, or the quiet tapping of footsteps down a hallway may immediately draw their attention. Sometimes this awareness leads to moments that seem playful. A cat may suddenly chase a tiny reflection of light on the wall or investigate a small shadow moving across the floor. These brief moments of excitement are part of the cat's natural curiosity. But just as quickly as the excitement appears, calm returns again. The cat sits down. The tail wraps neatly around its paws. And the quiet observation begins once more. Cats also possess a remarkable sense of balance that allows them to perform movements that seem almost effortless. You may have seen a cat leap gracefully onto a tall surface, landing softly and adjusting its posture with ease. Even when jumping from high places, cats often land with remarkable control. Part of this ability comes from the way cats distribute their body weight during movement. When a cat lands from a jump, its legs bend slightly, absorbing the impact like springs. The flexible spine and strong muscles help cushion the landing, allowing the cat to remain balanced and stable. These physical abilities make cats excellent climbers as well. In natural environments, cats often climb trees to escape danger or observe their surroundings from above. Domestic cats retain this instinct, which is why many enjoy climbing tall scratching posts or shelves. From a high perch, the cat can quietly survey its territory. The room below becomes a peaceful landscape of familiar objects and movements. And from this comfortable height, the cat rests once again, watching calmly. Cats may seem mysterious at times, but much of their behavior is simply the result of instincts that developed over thousands of years. Their patience, their quiet observation, their love of warmth and safety. All of these traits helped their ancestors survive in the wild. And even now, as companions living beside humans, these instincts continue to shape the gentle rhythm of their lives. As time passes in the quiet world of a cat, another small detail of their lives begins to stand out. Their remarkable ability to adapt to the spaces they live in. Cats are incredibly observant when it comes to learning the patterns of a home. Over time, they begin to understand the small routines that shape the day. They notice when lights turn on in the morning. They recognize the sounds of cupboards opening. They learn the footsteps that belong to the people they trust. A cat may even learn the difference between ordinary sounds and meaningful ones. For example, the gentle rustling of a bag may immediately catch a cat's attention if that bag sometimes contains treats. The sound of a can opening in the kitchen may cause a cat to appear almost instantly, quietly walking into the room with calm anticipation. This ability to recognize patterns shows that cats possess a form of quiet intelligence. They observe, they remember, and they slowly piece together how their environment works. Unlike animals that rely heavily on group communication, cats often learn through careful personal experience. A cat that discovers a comfortable sleeping spot near a warm heater may return to that exact location day after day. A sunny window where birds can be seen outside may become a favorite observation post. Over time, these small discoveries form a map in the cat's mind, a map of safe places, interesting places, warm places, and quiet places. And cats are very good at remembering these locations. Another peaceful aspect of a cat's behavior is the way they prepare themselves before sleep. Before settling down for a long nap, many cats perform a small sequence of calming actions. They may circle slowly in the spot they have chosen, turning once or twice as they test the surface beneath them. This circling behavior is believed to come from their wild ancestors. In natural environments, circling allowed animals to flatten grass or leaves before resting, creating a comfortable sleeping place. Even though domestic cats now rest on blankets and furniture, the instinct remains. After circling, the cat may knead the surface gently with its paws, pressing one paw forward, then the other. This kneading motion, as mentioned earlier, often traces back to kittenhood. It is a comforting movement that signals relaxation and safety. Once the spot feels perfect, the cat slowly lowers its body and tucks its paws beneath itself. Sometimes the tail wraps gently around the body. Sometimes the head rests lightly against the paws. And then, very slowly, the cat's eyes begin to close. Cats have a fascinating way of drifting into sleep. At first, their eyes may remain half open, watching the room through narrow slits. This stage of light rest allows them to remain aware of their surroundings while beginning to relax. Gradually, the breathing slows. The body softens, and the cat enters deeper sleep. During deeper sleep, the cat's body becomes completely relaxed. The muscles loosen, and the breathing becomes steady and slow. In these moments, the cat is fully at rest. But as mentioned before, cats also dream. If you watch closely, you may notice small movements during sleep. A gentle twitch of the whiskers, a small flick of the ear, a paw stretching slightly as though stepping across an invisible path. Scientists believe these movements occur during REM sleep, the stage of sleep associated with dreaming in many animals, including humans. What do cats dream about? We cannot know for certain, but it is possible that their dreams reflect their waking experiences. Perhaps they dream of chasing small insects across the floor. Perhaps they dream of climbing tall furniture or exploring new corners of their territory. Or perhaps they dream of something even simpler. Warm sunlight, soft blankets, and quiet rooms filled with familiar scents. Cats spend so much of their lives resting that their dreams may be just as peaceful as their waking hours. Another fascinating trait of cats is their independence. Cats are often described as independent animals, and in many ways this is true. Unlike some pets that constantly seek attention, cats are comfortable spending time alone. They may explore quietly, nap in distant rooms, or sit alone near a window watching the outside world. But independence does not mean they lack affection. Cats simply express companionship in quieter ways. A cat may choose to sit beside someone while they work or read. They may quietly curl up nearby during the evening. Or they may follow someone slowly from room to room, not seeking attention but simply enjoying the shared space. These small gestures form the quiet bond between cats and humans. Cats do not demand constant interaction. Instead, they offer companionship in calm, gentle ways. They share the silence. They share the space. And sometimes, in the quietest moments of the day, they remind us how peaceful the world can feel when we slow down. As we continue observing the quiet life of cats, another gentle aspect of their nature begins to reveal itself: their deep connection to comfort. Cats are experts at finding comfort in the smallest details of their environment. A slightly warmer patch of sunlight, a soft fold in a blanket, or the gentle warmth of a nearby person can quickly become the perfect place to rest. If you watch a cat closely as it searches for a place to settle down, you may notice how carefully it evaluates the space. The cat may step slowly across the surface, pressing lightly with its paws as if testing the softness beneath it. Sometimes it circles once or twice before deciding the place is suitable. Then, almost ceremoniously, the cat lowers its body and folds itself into a comfortable position. This careful process may seem simple, but it reflects the importance of rest in a cat's life. Because cats spend so much of their time sleeping, choosing the right resting place matters to them. Warmth is one of the most important factors. Cats naturally prefer environments that are slightly warmer than humans usually find comfortable. Their ancestors lived in warm desert climates, and their bodies remain well adapted to heat. This is why cats are often drawn to sunny windowsills. When sunlight pours through a window, creating a warm patch on the floor or furniture, it often becomes an irresistible invitation for a cat. The cat settles into the light, stretching its body across the warmth. And as the sun slowly moves across the sky, the cat may shift its position little by little, following the sunbeam throughout the day. It is almost as if the cat is quietly traveling with the sun itself. Another interesting detail about cats is the way they use their paws. Cat paws are incredibly sensitive and serve several important functions. Not only do they allow cats to walk silently, but they also help them feel the texture and temperature of surfaces beneath them. The soft pads on a cat's paws contain many nerve endings, allowing the cat to detect subtle differences in the ground or objects it touches. These sensitive paws also help cats move quietly. When a cat walks across a room, it often does so with almost no sound at all. The soft pads absorb the impact of each step, allowing the cat to move silently even across hard surfaces. This silent movement once gave cats an advantage while hunting. Prey animals would have little warning before the cat approached. Even now, many domestic cats move so quietly that they can appear beside a person almost without being noticed. One moment the room feels empty. The next moment, a cat is sitting calmly nearby. Their quiet footsteps allow them to move like shadows through the house. Another small but fascinating part of a cat's body is its claws. Unlike human fingernails, a cat's claws are retractable. Most of the time, a cat's claws remain tucked safely inside the paw. This protects the claws from damage and allows the cat to walk smoothly without them touching the ground. When needed, however, the claws extend instantly. This ability allows cats to climb, grip surfaces, and defend themselves if necessary. Scratching helps keep these claws healthy. You may have noticed that cats enjoy scratching surfaces such as scratching posts, carpets, or tree bark. This behavior serves several purposes. It helps remove old layers of the claw. It stretches the muscles in the legs and back. And it leaves behind scent markings that help the cat identify its territory. Although scratching may sometimes cause trouble for furniture, it is a natural and important behavior for cats. Another subtle part of a cat's behavior is the way they greet familiar people. Some cats greet their owners with quiet enthusiasm when they return home. A cat may approach slowly, tail raised upright like a small flag, and rub gently against a person's legs. This rubbing behavior is more than just affection. Cats have scent glands around their cheeks and heads. When they rub against someone, they leave a small amount of scent behind. This scent marking helps create a sense of familiarity. In a way, the cat is saying that the person belongs within its trusted space. Cats may also greet their companions with soft vocal sounds. Although adult cats rarely meow at each other, they often meow when communicating with humans. Scientists believe this behavior developed specifically during domestication. Over time, cats learned that humans respond to vocal sounds. So when a cat meows at a person, it may be asking for attention, food, or simply acknowledging their presence. Each cat develops its own unique voice. Some cats speak frequently with soft meows and chirps. Others communicate almost entirely through body language and quiet gestures. But regardless of how they express themselves, cats remain creatures of calm presence. They move quietly. They rest deeply. And they seem perfectly content to spend long hours simply observing the world around them. In many ways, cats remind us that life does not always need to be filled with constant movement. Sometimes the most peaceful moments come from stillness. From sitting quietly in a warm place. From listening to the soft sounds of the room. And from sharing that calm space with a small companion who understands the value of rest. As the night grows quieter, the world around us begins to slow. The lights dim, the sounds of the day fade away, and the house settles into that calm stillness that often arrives late in the evening. In these peaceful hours, cats seem perfectly at ease. Somewhere nearby, perhaps curled into a soft blanket or resting on the back of a chair, a cat may already be sleeping. Their body rises and falls gently with each breath. Their paws are tucked neatly beneath them, and their tail may be wrapped softly around their side. The room is quiet, and the cat rests without worry, completely comfortable in the calm space it has chosen. Cats have always been creatures of quiet moments. They understand the warmth of sunlight on the floor, the comfort of a familiar place, the gentle rhythm of rest and wakefulness that shapes each peaceful day. For thousands of years, cats have lived beside humans, sharing our homes and our lives in their own quiet way. They do not rush through the world the way we sometimes do. Instead, they pause. They observe. They rest when they are tired. They stretch when they wake. And they move through the world slowly, gracefully, as if reminding us that there is no need to hurry through every moment. Watching a cat sleep can be surprisingly calming. The slow breathing, the small movements of their whiskers, the occasional twitch of a paw as they drift through a dream we can only imagine. Perhaps they are wandering through tall grass beneath a warm sun. Perhaps they are chasing a drifting feather or watching birds from a quiet windowsill. Or perhaps their dreams are simply filled with warmth, safety, and the familiar comfort of the home they know. Cats seem to carry a peaceful rhythm within them, a balance between curiosity and rest, energy and stillness. And sometimes, when the room grows quiet and a cat settles nearby, that rhythm gently spreads to the people around them. The presence of a sleeping cat can make a space feel softer, calmer, and more peaceful. The quiet rumble of a purr may begin, steady and soothing, like a small engine humming gently in the background. And before long, the entire room seems to share that same calm energy. A peaceful stillness. A quiet moment at the end of the day. So as the night continues and the world grows quiet, you might imagine a cat somewhere nearby, curled into a comfortable circle, drifting peacefully through sleep. Warm, safe, and completely at rest. Perhaps now it is time to do the same. Take one slow breath. Let the quiet settle around you, and allow the calm rhythm of the night to carry you gently towards sleep. Good night.